Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Trekyards. I'm your host, Captain Foley.
Wow, you're so animated.
Right?
And
Who are
I'm
you?
Clonicognious. And I'm
There we go.
subdued because I'm thinking logically and
You're filmation. You're like very minimal movement, but
I,
modern animation is like this. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the subtle CG animation art where little micro expressions make all the difference. Hi, Stuart.
Hi. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be talking about
Oh.
the rumored new Star Trek series that could be coming out possibly, and what we'd like to see from them. Today, in case you couldn't guess, we're talking about the animated possible Star Trek new animated series.
Yes.
So yeah, what do you think, Commander?
Well, I mean, they announced 5 things, all of which have sort of possibly existed before. You know, there was an animated pitch, they had concept art, then it just wasn't picked up. The Academy show, same thing. It was almost a movie. You know, all those things. So it's one of sort of recycled ideas. But I mean, they did it once. TOS the animated series, and it's both loved and disliked. Like, it's a lot of medium, but it's kind of like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's good. I don't like it. I mean, like, it's a very much like a your opinion on it sort of thing. Animated nowadays with 3D animation could be truly superb, even for a medium budget. You know, I mean, the fact that Star Wars keeps churning out every time they have one, it gets finished or cancelled. They have another one literally in the pipeline already, from Clone Wars to then Rebels and now Resistance. Is that what the next one's called? They need to keep churning them out, and the animation keeps getting better, and it looks cooler, and they can do so much with it. And it's like this sort of cider canon, because most people don't watch it, sort of sub stuff, but adds to the main story. So it's an infinite possibilities thing, maybe. What do you think?
Yes. Well, as you said, I mean, so many different choices and ways they could go with it, and there's a few things I'd like to see personally.
Well, first
I mean,
of all, would you watch animated, or would you be more inclined to
yes.
animated than... Okay. Okay.
I love the original animated series, and like you said, with new CGI animation, that would be really incredible. Because I'm a big fan of Beast Wars and Transformers Prime and stuff that's animated with CG.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, it's all CG now. It's, just looks more like a drawn. That's kind of the part of the fun. I mean, do you
Yeah.
watch any animated stuff now? I mean, would this be sort of your new 2018-19 animated show?
It would be. I don't really watch anything animated right now, except for like Family Guy and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was into Transformers Prime and things like that because they were really well done. The new Transformers series, not so much, but so it can be hit and miss. But with Star Trek, I think they could really win. And one thing that really works for me for an animated series for Star Trek would be an anthology series.
Mm.
I've said this before too. Like, you could jump eras. You could have a few episodes in TOS era and then jump to the Lost era between Star Trek 6 and TNG, which would be awesome to see. There's so many possibilities there, and you can follow different ships, and I mean, it opens up so much. But as we had talked about earlier with Patrick Stewart rumors, it would make sense to have a TNG animated series, and I think they've pitched that before. But he has obviously aged. Like you said, we could have Brent Spiner and everybody come back, and their voices still sound the same, which is fine. And it would be something that could totally be done, because the very last episode of TNG, All Good Things, it ends on you could fill in that gap between movies, maybe. Not that there's much of a gap there, or you can go with post Nemesis, which would be fine. The new Enterprise E, the kind of retro refitted one.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, obviously it's all about making money. Unfortunately, that's why a lot of fan films are really cool, because it is not. It can't be. It's truly about the creativity. So if you said to CBS said, right, we want an animated series to compete with Star Wars animated and just get a new audience, great. Where makes the most creative sense? I mean, you could say what makes the most financial sense. You could argue a JJ one, because that's got the it would have should have been done earlier, but the branding of people know those movies and those characters, that makes sort of sense, branding. But you'll alienate a huge audience because people just won't watch it. You could make it inside the eras, all Prime Trek, and you'll get the Trek audience. You don't necessarily get the new people, because why they go back and watch a Voyager era animated season? Like, why would you? But since there are new Trek fans being made every day, that go back and just eat up the content, they would watch that. And if it holds up, modern graphics, looks really cool, not necessarily change the designs, but you can instantly light a set differently to make it look cooler. Like, that's not a problem. Or even have more details that weren't there in the physical set, especially with TOS, you know. But what's the creative reason? Now, if they go Discovery era, which I guess makes the most financial sense, then they will alienate a lot of the hardcore fans, but you might get a lot of the new Discovery fans, or maybe all of them. And then is that not all they really want? Like, if that's okay enough for Discovery, that would be okay enough for Discovery Animated. You know? But the creative stuff, like, what are the stories that's telling the era that aren't around what they've invented? The Spore Drive, the weird Klingons. That's all they've invented. Like, there's nothing new there. And they can invent stuff, but then it's like, well, that era is not interesting in and of itself, and they're sort of proven to do it wrongly. Whereas you're right, if you made a TNG one, then you could tell any between stories, you could tell any after stories, you could tell just a story. You know, you'd get fan recognition, and CG with the right team can be a lot cheaper. So why not make a 10-episode TNG episode series, test the waters, and let the animated series be the fan love. You know, have a, and then you bring every single actor back from any single show. It's your ultimate fan experience, you know.
And you raised an interesting point too about a JJ animated. I would actually be on board for a JJ animated series. And people might find that strange, not necessarily following the Enterprise, but following another ship like Star Trek Bridge Crew. You know, plays the Aegeus, which is actually kind of a neat design. There's so many rich possibilities in the JJ verse, especially if they do it like the IDW comics, because the comics are done fantastically. Everything from the art style to the storytelling is awesome in the IDW comics for the JJ verse. There's so many possibilities there that I would welcome a JJ animated series, and a lot of people might find that shocking coming from me, but if you're not following the Enterprise per se, I don't see a problem with it. I think it'd be very enjoyable, actually.
Well, if they go the direction of Beyond was going, which is much more, I guess, universe conscious, you know, not necessarily canon because they're their own canon, but using the universe rather than just saying, nah, now there's this, now there's that, nah, you know what I mean? If they use the universe more and stop Star Warsing it and inventing new super weapons, etc. But, I mean, I'd watch it, but I wouldn't be excited by it because it doesn't link to anything, and the universe is still a subdivided subset of Trek, so it would just be like, I know it goes nowhere, does nothing.
Funny. That could be the name of the show. Star Trek Goes Nowhere, Does Nothing, the animated series.
Whereas, I mean, an obvious one would be Titan, Star Trek Titan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Riker can sound older, Marina Sirtis, Picard be an admiral. That'd be an obvious one. I mean, John Frakes, great actor. You know, he directs a lot more now, but hey, a good paycheck. We've got the design movie updated a little bit, whatever. And set it 15 years later, before Hobus, or even after Hobus. You really want to push it after Hobus. And you could tell unlimited stories, but still have the character recognition and the people recognition, or be really amazing, or this would be the most expensive option, you know, have a season of each show animated. But then it costs more because you've got to hire all the actors again. I mean, casting the entire Enterprise cast, bringing it all back, that's more expensive than a brand new show. But wouldn't it be great to see a new season animated of every season? Like, give them one more. So the opportunity is there, but if they want to, you can't make a franchise out of looking at the old stuff. Unless you said, right, the best time in Trek is TNG, and will be parallel to all the Trek we know, which means we'll get the costume evolution, we get the Dominion War, we get exploration, new crew, new ship, somewhere else. But then you get to reference everything else, and you get to bring in Odo for in a single episode. You get to bring in whatever. You know, or make it an experimental ship if you really want to. You know.
I just came up with a brilliant idea.
Yes.
It could be called Star Trek Aftermath. And what happens is, each episode of this animated series starts with the ending of a classic episode of Trek or TNG. The Enterprise is leaving orbit, and you get the aftermath of what happened following their great adventure. That'd be kind of neat.
The great cleanup crew of the galaxy.
Yeah, and told from
Yeah.
different perspectives, like the people on the planet surface, or the Romulans that they just encountered, or the Klingons. I think that'd be kind of neat and kind of expand the world and the universe and the stories that we already know in an interesting, fun way. Star Trek Aftermath, guys, that should be a thing.
It's really annoying because everything is a story in the Trek universe. Animation is cheaper. It's also expensive, but it is cheaper, especially when you're throwing money at Discovery and not really coming across per se. You know, the CG space battles are just part of the same team that's doing it. Like, it's all... If you don't have to art design as much, like, it's an instant win. But, I mean, you could, should, and would do the Captain Worf show. You know, from the Klingon, the proper Klingons' perspective, you know, with their actual honor system and their culture, and then you can develop it that way and see all different costumes and styles, but have familiar characters. I mean, the most rated episode of TNG is the one with Spock. It's not the best episode of TNG by a long way. They're actually sort of okay, fine, good. They're not even that amazing. They could have done it better. But that's the most rated episode of TNG because Spock came in. If you had an animated series in the TNG, you could bring everybody at some point from every show, especially if you made it late or whatever. And imagine the ratings boost if it's a week by week. And Captain Worf appearing for a single episode. And I mean, it's not the same as live action, obviously, but having data and having everyone, even Tasha Yar, Seela, even one-offs, you know, the guy that played... I mean, Garon's not one-off, but having Garon, Martok, having... Just bringing the guy that played Duras in one episode, you know, the voice. You know, TNG is the absolutely most critical era to put it in, because everyone's still around, you can tell new stories, you can develop, you can link things, you can tell the aftermath, you know, what happens on Cardassia after destruction, what happens here, there, and everywhere. But this is what the fans would want, not what necessarily makes most sense.
Yeah,
but boy,
exactly.
would I buy that Blu-ray. Boy, would I support that. But I would probably subscribe to All Access. Well, okay, I can't because I'm UK. But boy, would I keep paying Netflix to get that show, you know?
And jumping off of that idea and kind of the aftermath thing, it would be cool to see the same stories, but from a different character's perspective.
Yeah.
Like the off-screen parts. Kind of like the last episode of Enterprise. You love it or hate it, but it happened within the Pegasus storyline and TNG, which was neat. It was neat to see kind of what was going on. So it wouldn't be cool to have like crossover elements from the original episode of whatever, but see it from different points of view. Like when the person leaves the bridge, what do they do? And kind of like Data's Day almost. Where you see kind of more of what goes on, or even the Lower Decks episode. Something like that would be kind of neat, where you don't necessarily... You know what happens because you've seen the original episode, but fill in more of that story and the character development. And you could bring back all the old characters from TNG, and I think that would work.
I mean, yeah, if again, this is the fan version.
Yes, exactly.
But again, if you can get the hardcore fans in, really in, you've got a huge set of people. I mean, part of why Nemesis flopped is because A, it wasn't a great film, not a great film. The bad release, the bad weekend, the bad promotion, like it was a whole load of things. It wasn't also the bad direct choice, whatever. But yeah, imagine if you had 10 episodes and you picked the 10 best Trek reviewed by fans or whoever, and you know, you see another part of each one. No, City on the Edge of Forever. You see what happens at the alternate Earth for that 1 millisecond before it gets swapped, but in real time, there's 2 days, whatever, of this alternate universe. What is the post-Hitler version of Earth with all of our characters in that one version of the alternate universe that gets swapped? It starts with Kirk, everything swaps, just like we saw in yesterday's Enterprise. What would that swap do to Starfleet? Because we don't get the Enterprise, but doesn't mean we don't get Starfleet in some form, even if it's Nazi fleet, whatever. You know, Purity fleet. Aye, Enterprise. I don't know, whatever. Same thing. You know, yesterday's Enterprise, but it's you know, from the Sea's perspective. You know, seeing the same story from an alternate view. I mean, you've got so much of the work done, but you can make them so much richer.
Yeah. Well, that brings up a perfect one. Yesterday's Enterprise. As soon as the Enterprise goes back through the rift, what happens? To see that battle with the Romulans and like a half hour, it's an animated, so it'll be like 24 minutes or 22 minutes long.
Yeah.
But, you know, you see Castile dealing with the Romulans and dying, and, you know, and Tasha Yar not dying and getting picked up as one of the survivors off the ship.
It's a big spoiler.
You know what I mean? But I think that would be fantastic. I would love that because we kind of got a taste of Castile's, you know, character and stuff, just to see that expanded on. And that's a rich part of Trek history. That's one of the episodes they should pick if they do that.
I think the problem though is that then do you link to the Star Trek Online version? Because they have a very distinct version of what happens after that. Because then you've got these different. No, they've had the license to do whatever they want, and on some tremendous around the stories, limited in terms of the game end, like what you have to do game mechanics wise. It's not as free as an animated would be. But it's sort of unlimited. But obviously they won't. Unfortunately, Discovery, they've lost the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So you've got to imagine it'll either be a Discovery show, or a Discovery reboot TNG universe, or a JJ reboot TNG universe. Therefore, you have the very minimal name recognition of, hey, it's the TNG universe, JJ verse, and we're like, no one wanted this. I mean, some people sort of want it, but they don't want it as like the new show. It's like if you have one chance to make a new animated show, don't do that. Do something really excellent that everyone's gonna love. You know?
Do a Mirror Universe series.
Well, that's right.
The Mirror Universe, like for Discovery, I was some of the best episodes of Discovery in my opinion. And yeah, it's ripe for the picking. You can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah, do well, again, it's a fan thing, but do Enterprise Season 5, the Mirror stuff you didn't get to see. You know, straight at the end of Into Mirror Darkly, you know, it goes from a CG shot of the ship into an animated shot of the ship, and we have, you know, Hoshi Sato come back and take over the Empire, and we see, you know, that technology become like we saw in Discovery, you know, how they ripped apart and said, oh, this ship looks ugly, and oh, we need to make it neon and black, and let's update it because it looks so old, even though it's the future. Well, it's too iPhone for us. No, animated lets you do literally anything, and they need to capitalize on the actors because they will not be around forever, but you can still tell their best stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if they can't give full performances, the story could be amazing. You know, I like the loss of benefit of the doubt. So they'll do something that makes sense from a marketing perspective to general fans.
Yeah.
Like a JJ, like a Discovery, like a.
Well, that's the problem. They got JJ, they got Discovery. They've kind of ostracized the real, like the hardcore Trek fans. They need to draw them back in, and doing, you know, things that we suggested would do that. And it would also appeal to the people that are new into Trek that start watching TNG, that there's a tie-in there, so they'll watch the animated as well. It makes sense from a marketing standpoint to focus on the hardcore Trek fans and bring them back into the fold, because they are not there right now.
Although it's amazing, all the marketing research says that all throughout JJ, the toys didn't really sell. Like, there's sell and there's sell. The Discovery stuff doesn't really sell, and there isn't much of it because the people know it wouldn't sell, so distributors said we're just not going to do that. You know, licenses weren't sold. It's always the Prime stuff that sells. Guess what? Every year there's a new TNG figure, there's a new Picard figure, there's not Captain Lorca figure. You know, there isn't this stuff. There isn't a Captain Kirk 09, you know, 9-inch figure in a pose. It's like, no, because people don't buy the toys because that's the hardcore fans, so they know there's no point marketing for that stuff. And yes, the viewer numbers might be good, but that's general people. They're not buying this stuff. I mean, it is, you know, one or the other. But please, guys, make Discovery your 2018 reboot of the franchise. Make 09 your attempted 09 reboot of the franchise that sort of went downhill. Then had a brave spot, and then got abandoned a bit. And let the animators be the Prime Nirvana. It's an easy sell, you know. With these other shows, I mean, you know, appeal to the youth with the Academy show, appeal to them, the adventuring spirit, appeal to the Prime fans with the animated, appeal to Discovery with Discovery fans. I mean, it you know.
Or hit all the demographics with the animated series and just do an anthology thing. One episode's in the JJ verse, next episode's in TOS time, one's in.
Well, then you have licensing issues again. Like we know it's all a bit more complicated than we think. You have to pay Paramount a lot of money to do that.
I would love that. I would love the heck out of that. But yeah, there's so many possibilities, as you said, with animated. So I mean, they have the opportunity to fix their mistakes and draw a lot of people back. And I think that would be the best way to do it is with this animated series. So,
yeah. There's so much they could/should do, and we'll see. It might not even come out. You know, it's been promised for a while. There's been rumors. There's been things for a long time. But I suppose this makes sense. now, with sort of it coming back, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can recapitalize on the true fans, the big fans, the whatever fans, then yeah, I think you've got a lot of potential there.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's our ideas, our pitches
Mm-hmm.
for the animated series. It could be a game changer as far as Star Trek goes, good or bad. So they need to play their cards right. But what do you guys think? Put your comments below. What do you think of our ideas? What are your ideas for an animated series? We love reading them. We love hearing your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon. So to do that, you need to click subscribe. You need to hit like and notify so that you get notified every time we upload a video.
Or help us directly via Patreon or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. That's really important, but a regular donation does make a big difference. A lot of YouTubers use the system to ensure that their bills get paid, because this takes time, energy, money to make these sorts of shows, and we're making them for you. So if you want to support us to help support you by making more shows, you got to help. You're going to help us on Patreon. It's really important, so please do if you can, even $1. But 5, 10, 15 is ideal, and if enough of you give, we know we're doing good. So please do if you can.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I am Commander Coggins.
Oh, sorry, animated Captain Foley.
And I am still me. Commander Coggins.
He's the Filmation version. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.